Welcome, this is your life now, a wasteland where we all take a vow.
Hi, my name is Mallory. I've had multiple sclerosis for 19 years, and I've been utilizing a power wheelchair for 13. I share my family's experience dealing with a chronic illness, and today I wanted to talk about being a mom, a mom from a wheelchair. And we have a 13-year-old daughter. I have my husband here with me today.
Hi there.
We've changed up our, I guess, how we're doing this, just to make it a little more comfortable and raw and conversational, because I wanted it to be real. That's always what I wanted this podcast to be, was real. And it's taken me some time to peel off layers of who I am and get past the uncomfortable parts. And anyway, so here we are. You should be, if you're tuning into a video platform, you should be seeing me exercising. So if you hang on and you watch the entire video, I'm going to explain that at the end. But if you're listening audio only, our content's going to be, what our experience has been parenting with a disability. So anyways, we are talking about our 13-year-old kind of, but in a sense, we very carefully, very strategically planned our pregnancy. It wasn't a shock, but I think it was a shock. We weren't ready when my neurologist told us that we're young, and
I think she said, if y'all want to have kids, you probably need to do it now, because we don't know if your body will be able to handle it later.
Yeah. And at the time, what was I, 22, 23?
22, 23 sounds about right.
And so it was a little, I think for us, we planned on having kids later so that we could have our own adventures. And I don't know, life just doesn't work that way. Our plans significantly change given whatever's going on with my body. So we pivot a lot. So that was not our plan, but I don't even remember what month that was communicated in, but ironically our daughter was born in September, but September was your date, whatever year that was. Right. We drove home, kind of in shock. And then additionally, just kind of kept working through the emotions and feelings. And but I remember you saying, like, just give me till September. Just let me get my head in the game.
Get my head right so I can...
then we're going to start this.
I can process the fact of being a parent.
And so, but I remember you said, like, we'll start trying in September. And so we did. It's ironic. September was your date because our daughter was born in September. But needless to say, we very carefully planned. I came off medication during my pregnancy. After I did not breastfeed, so I could immediately go back on
steroids.
I did steroids, go back on medication. And so anyways, everything was very carefully planned during that season. Once we got past the mental hurdle of we're going to do this. But all along, we knew we wanted kids. We knew we wanted that level of intimacy with each other. And so that's what we did. And I wouldn't change anything. But in the end, this Mother's Day, this past weekend, we're a week behind now. I attempted to record this and my body just couldn't do it. It couldn't get my brain to function and process all the thoughts that I had around this subject. And so here we are a week later. But I think it's still important because for whatever reason, I do not know why, but it took me 13 years of being in a wheelchair, right, to finally get to this reflection that, like, I'm a freaking badass. Like, I don't know. We just did. Like, I just did. Like, I wanted to still do. I wanted to still experience life. I still wanted children. I still wanted a career. I still wanted a education. And so we just did. And I never, like, I don't know, I just never like stopped and reflected on the fact that like I'm in a wheelchair and this is, I don't know, like I could step back and like do things differently. I still wanted those things, so I still strived to achieve them, which I did. But I mean, I'm not successfully, or we're not successful. We'll always be striving to be the best parent, right? But we're not successfully out of the woodworks on that yet. But so of course, you know, raising a child, especially like starting at 8 months old, because I had my flare up when our daughter was 8 months old that landed me in a wheelchair. And that was a whirlwind. We went from walking and able on a Monday to paralyzed by Friday. Like there was no function. So I actually gained some back through the years, some abilities, but I still depend on the power wheelchair very much so. But so we had to adjust very much and very quickly in raising our 8-month-old. And to be honest, like, I don't know, I was reflecting this morning and really wanting to like call my grandmother and thank her so much because she was so pivotal. And I think honestly, the success of our marriage, because that was a really challenging season and really figuring out who we are and what our culture was going to be as a disabled family. And I don't know, that like period was so detrimental, but also like challenging for us to really strive to make our marriage work, and also be good parents at the same time. And so I don't know, I just want to call my grandmother and say thank you. Like, you have no idea like how impactful her help was during that season. Because we, you know, at the very like 8-month beginning when I started using the wheelchair, my grandmother would come over and she'd stay days with us, and
she'd make dinner and help with our daughter and
cook and clean
and
laundry. I mean, all the things to like set us up to be successful for when she wasn't there. But I think that time period too, like because we didn't have to focus and worry about the logistics of our home, it allowed us to work on the mental health and the emotional pieces that we also needed to address during that time period, because I mean, that was tough. Right. And I'm sure we'll get into the details on, I'm sure in the future on those pieces, but I don't know. We just had to figure out how to be parents. But also we had to figure out how I could be a parent, how I could be a part of her life, and how I could provide for our daughter with my limitations. And so we did I feel like we did a really good job. You always have done an amazing job recognizing my desire to participate and adapting to whatever that emotion, because I feel like it always comes with an emotion. But you've always done a good job with me on that. But things I can think of were, I remember at certain points, like I wanted to be more active in like getting her ready for like going to daycare, or obviously feeding her and all those things. But how we did that though is, you would get up in the morning, get her out of her crib, bring her to me in the bed. We'd be in our bed and you'd bring her to me and I'd get her dressed and changed and ready for the day, feed her, things like that. Like you would do the motion parts and I would do the sedentary parts that allowed me to be active in raising our child and bringing her up. But even like grocery store, we've got pictures of going to the grocery store and we have one grocery store that has small child carts, and we'd give her that as a toddler to participate in grocery shopping. And then it actually allowed me to be able to put things in her basket, and it almost was easier. A lot less arguments than we have today with a 13-year-old. because she actually wanted to go to the grocery store with us and wanted to pretend and play. But at the same time, I'm like, we do have an accessible van, and we've always kept a van for the third row seating, and the reason being is because I could buckle her in, get her in her car seat. Additionally, she could climb in, and all I had to worry about was buckling her in and things like that. She could climb out. But I did all the normal things any other mother would do. Dropped her off at daycare, picked her up, dropped her off at school, picked her up. We did all the normal things. As she has grown, though, I've been very conscientious of the fact that I'm the only mom in the wheelchair. And so I do meet the teacher and school activities, non-school activities. I've always kind of kept a pulse with her of, am I embarrassing you? Do you want me to stop talking? Do you want me to go sit in the corner? Is there anything I need to do to adjust to help her comfort level? And at the end of the day, it's always been a no. You are who you are. You are my mom. And she doesn't care. And that's the thing. She doesn't know any different. And that's something I've had to work through, as well as I have tried to keep her from having to do anything over and above, because I just kind of thought, I had this impression in my mind, or thought, that she shouldn't have to care, provide for her mother. That's not fair to her. And actually, in conversation with relatives, I realized this is all she knows, and and really what it became is, this is all she knows, and we were really being disrespectful to her, not allowing her to assist, and just even minor things like help me grab something, or help me sit up in bed, or just minor things like that. I really tried to avoid asking things of her, or burdening her with additional tasks. And really what I've found is, she felt that was disrespectful, that I didn't trust her. She wanted to be active in helping provide for me, care for me. So I don't know. I'm a very big conversationalist, and so I like to really understand the mental aspects. So I try to keep a pulse on, you, my husband, and also our daughter. Heck, I do the same thing with the dog. How are you doing today? What do you need? And just because our life is challenging, and so I do keep our mental health in the forefront, or try to anyways. It's not always the easiest, because it's, things kind of fester up, but at the end of the day, we're doing a good job there. I think she's 13.
We are. I think we're doing a good job. She's still alive. I like to think that we did a good job. It's awesome that we kept a child alive for 13 years.
Yeah. We're first-time parents, and we, have elected to have an only child, and I don't know, we weren't. I don't want to say we weren't good parents at the beginning. We just were very literal. We didn't think everything was black and white. We didn't. I don't know. We just didn't look at the gray area. But I'm do you remember? We weren't feeding her enough.
I guess she was just crying and crying, and we were doing what the doctor told us, feed her this amount. And I guess we didn't realize that the kids grow and require more food.
We were dumb. We were dumb new parents.
So we called Grandma, and Grandma came over and stuck another bottle in her mouth, and the child was happy and went to sleep.
But I remember my mom, Mimi, my mom was the exact term was, Mallory, make another bottle for this baby. She's hungry. But I called my mom over because like we weren't getting any rest. We just couldn't make her happy. And to be honest, like once we start to feed her appropriately, like she was the best baby. Like we really had it good with her. Like she slept through the night very young. And so she was very good to us as an infant. So but we did things like we had a bumbo, and so we would set her in her bumbo like on the kitchen table, and that allowed me to be able to feed her. We would like, even when I was fatigued, because I went back to work, she was I think 6 weeks old when I went back to work.
6 to 8 weeks.
And so I was walking and able when I went back to work. But you can imagine, all your hormones changing. Plus I had MS. I was super fatigued. And then this flare up was stirring in my body as well. So we would put the bumbo, like even in the bed, I'd get ready for bed. We'd sit her in her bumbo in the middle of the bed, and we'd sit there feeding her. And we figured it out. We made it work. We made it functional for us. And now as she's older, she's definitely, we're working through the mental aspects now. All the normal same things that you would work through with any preteen is what we're encountering. I don't really have any limitations as far as a wheelchair with the older kiddo. And the good characteristics of our daughter that she's developed is, this is who we are. She's proud of who we are. She doesn't say it, but I think she believes I'm pretty awesome and I've done some amazing things. But I don't know. It's just crazy to me that I'm just now coming to the terms that like, I just didn't think about it at the time. Like I raised a child from a wheelchair, or I am raising a child from a wheelchair. I just didn't realize how awesome that was until reflecting this year that we did some hard things, some really hard things. But I worked through all of that time. So, some really hard things, fatigue and everything else. So, but I think, I talked a lot about like the logistical parts of being a parent, like the to-dos, like feeding and transportation. And we even did social activities and things like that, like no issues, like very involved with basketball and karate. And we were able to address all of those things. And really my limitations didn't impact her in any way when it came to that. But the biggest part, what I think is the biggest obstacle of being a parent who's disabled, is the mental aspect. I honestly, that's been the biggest challenge. If we're being real, that's the biggest challenge of having a chronic illness overall, is the mental aspect. And for me, it's the burden that I put on everyone. But being a mother and having the heart that I do, every sickness and ailment and illness that she's ever had, I have always, in the back of my mind, thought like, it's because of me. This is hereditary. I caused this. I created this. But that's the hardest part to get past for me, is that I created the problem. And in reality, I that's not true, but it's just that's the story I tell myself that I got to work through sometimes. But our daughter she had hearing aids at 3. She wore hearing aids for about a year,
Right.
as her, and, luckily as she grew, that problem corrected itself. And so we don't wear hearing aids anymore. And then, she wore ankle braces to correct her bone structure around what was that, 4 or 5. And so, just all of those like growing things, like it just always made my heart sink that I created this problem. And in the end, like that, at the end of the day, like everything has been corrected, like all those little ailments that you come across with a growing child. But I don't know. I felt so guilty and felt so bad, and as if I did these things. But I don't know. She's gotten older. I've been a little more forgiving with myself that it's not me. I didn't do these things. I didn't prompt this. But I think that's just the hardest part, is the mental piece. But additionally, like we are a bit limited on the activities that we can do. So that's hard sometimes as well. I mean, which you totally make up for, with activities, outdoor things that I can't do. And additionally, like we have really awesome friends that, she went to a fair last weekend that
Six Flags the weekend before.
Yeah. So we've got awesome friends that include her in activities that otherwise wouldn't be comfortable for me. I think the fair, like I excuse myself from the fair because of the uneven.
There's no concrete. It was
the uneven
rock and dirt, and
honestly, like my first thought was that I'm just gonna be so like overwhelmed with the sensations of uneven pavement, and I don't know, I was scared of that activity. Anyways, we've got great friends that include her in activities and immediate family that includes her in lots of activities, so I don't feel like she's missing out on that aspect. And we went to the beach last week, and activities that were overwhelming to me, spending so much time like on the beach or out in activities, you compensated for, and it allowed me to sit on the porch and enjoy the breeze with a book and recover when you guys were playing. So I mean, we are very conscientious of social needs and activity needs, and we try not to limit her. We try to find the resource to get her active and participating in society and not so limited like I sometimes feel. So I don't know. We've only made it 13 years, so maybe we should check in every year to see how we're doing on this. Because to be honest, I feel like the hardest parts of raising our child are yet to come, because we're getting into those teenage years, and then I'll really become not normal. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, what I've described is not all inclusive of what everyone's situation might look like raising a child, but with a disability in the home. But at the end of the day, I hope this is helpful for, a couple considering having a child. I hope this is helpful for a mother that's discouraged. I don't know, having a chronic illness on top of being a parent can be discouraging sometimes, because you feel like a burden. That's where my head always wants to go. But at the end of the day, I hope this is encouraging and helpful for someone considering parenthood or in the midst of it. But regardless, thanks for joining. And if you are hanging on to see exactly what I'm doing in the video aspect, you can hang on to the end of the video and we'll be talking through that.
Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying the content we're creating, please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and find us wherever you can get your podcasts.
So the video that we've got rolling is my exercise routine with, I go to a gym, and this is with my personal trainer. I have elected not to do physical therapy because it is too fluffy for me. I don't know. I just don't like the sit in a room, small room with a whole bunch of other people struggling to regain independence. And then when I say fluffy, I mean like pick up your leg 10 times. It's just, I don't know. It's not challenging enough for me. So what I did is I started kind of just like interviewing people that I knew had personal trainers. I started interviewing those personal trainers, and I found someone that was willing to take on my ailments or my needs, or I just was looking for somebody that wanted to be vulnerable with what I had to work with. So what you're seeing is my personal trainer and I just kind of working through what I am able to do. So there's a few days worth of exercise that you have, and some days you see me doing some hardcore stuff and like lifting heavier weights and able to pull off a full hour. And then other days it is just literally me doing like 5 exercises with like no weight, and my personal trainer and I just chatting. But I do love the gym. I love the culture of our gym. I love the just the variation of people that come in the gym, so it can sometimes be social hour for me. But I don't know, it's just so rewarding for me to go to the gym and so forth. So that's what you're seeing is my gym time.